Looking for the best graphics card? In this video we will look at some of the 5 best graphics card on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description. So make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Number 1, Nvidia GeForce RTX 4070. The Nvidia GeForce RTX 4070 is the best graphics card in our opinion. It's not the fastest, nor does it offer the best savings, but it strikes a great balance between performance and price, allowing you to spend more elsewhere, or save. How does this thing compare against our other competing recommendations? It's plenty good, coming in behind AMD's Radeon RX 7900 XT. But offering a considerable MRSP discount of around $300. Being an RTX 40 series GPU, this card uses the same Ada Lovelace architecture as the mightily impressive Nvidia GeForce RTX 4090, the best gaming card available. While not as potent, the RTX 4070 does come with 12GB of GDDR6X RAM for storing all your game data. This makes it a fine weapon for 4K gaming, and the rest of the specifications support this. 5888 shader units are more than enough to tackle some high-fidelity gaming. And so too is the 2.48 GHz boost clock speed rating. Then there's the exceptional ray tracing support with all RTX 40 GPUs from Nvidia, this one included. Couple that with DLSS, which works like dark magic, and you've got one impressive graphics card that's more in line with what most people are willing to spend on a GPU. Number 2, AMD Radeon RX 7900 XTX. The AMD Radeon RX 7900 XTX is the current flagship AMD graphics card. It's our pick for the best graphics card right now due to the performance gains AMD was able to implement with RDNA 3. This architecture is incredibly efficient, built on a 5 nanometers and 6 nanometers manufacturing process for the GPU cores and memory modules, respectively. The base clock speed for the AMD Radeon RX 7900 XTX is 2.3 GHz, and it can boost all the way up to 2.5 GHz. To make the most out of the GPU, AMD recommends using it with a Ryzen CPU to unlock additional benefits relating to memory. Speaking of which, you've got a whopping 24 GB of GDDR6 to play with, all on a 384-bit bus. The RX 7900 XTX is capable of offering 3500 GB per second of memory bandwidth. For cores, we're looking at 6144, which does fall short compared to what Nvidia offers with its RTX 40 series GPUs, but it's able to make up ground elsewhere with faster clock speeds and higher memory bandwidth. You've got all the usual high-end GPU features here, including ray tracing support and AMD's excellent Radeon Super Resolution, the latter of which is essentially Nvidia DLSS for AMD GPUs. You will be sacrificing around 3 PCI slots inside your PC case, and AMD states it has a length of 287mm. So make sure your chassis can take such a card. You will require a beefy power supply, as AMD recommends at least an 800 watts PSU, and the Radeon RX 7900 XTX is capable of pulling 355 watts of power. Number 3, Intel RK 770 Limited Edition. Intel is now in the game of making graphics cards. The best GPU from Intel right now is the RK 770 Limited Edition, which isn't actually limited in availability but is what Intel refers to as Founders Edition cards. Intel didn't launch its new GPUs to take on the best graphics cards from Nvidia and AMD, and we saw this in our testing of the Intel RK 770. It's still quite the capable machine for 1440p gaming. However, inside the GPU, you'll find 32 cores, 8 render slices, 32 ray tracing units, and 512 XMX engines. This all basically means it's good for 1080p and 1440p gaming. With ray tracing enabled in games, the Intel RK 770 can actually perform well enough to take on some of Nvidia's older RTX GPUs. Intel didn't overpromise, however, and the RK 770 does perform about as well as an Nvidia GeForce RTX 3060, all while being affordable. It's also incredibly affordable when compared to the latest AMD and Nvidia graphics cards. Number 4. Nvidia GeForce RTX 3060T. The Nvidia GeForce RTX 3060T is a brilliant little graphics card. It offered amazing value at launch, allowing for high-fidelity 1440p gaming at less than $400. The RTX 3060T features the GA104 GPU with a total of 4,864 CUDA cores. Not only is it a significant departure from RTX 2060 Super, but it has more CUDA cores than even the RTX 2080 Super. The clock speed of 1.4 GHz is also impressive, and so too is the boost of 1.7 GHz. And if you manage to buy an aftermarket card from AMD partners, you can enjoy an overclocked RTX 3060T experience with even more performance headroom. For memory, the RTX 3060T has 8GB of GDDR6, which isn't enough for 4K gaming and cements this as a 1440p powerhouse. Memory bandwidth clocks in at 448GB per second, which comes close to what you can find in more powerful hardware. 38 ray tracing and 4864 processing cores are present inside the GPU, allowing you to crank up visual settings and even mess around with ray tracing in select games. Supporting tech like Nvidia's DLSS would be a requirement to offset the performance hit from more intense lighting processing. With a TDP of just 200 watts, you can get away with installing it inside a mid-range PC without needing to upgrade the power supply. It may be part of the previous generation of GPUs, but you'll be pleasantly surprised by just how capable the RTX 3060T is in even the more recent PC games. Number 5. Nvidia GeForce RTX 3070. If you want the best value GPU for 1440p and some 4K gaming, look no further than the Nvidia GeForce RTX 3070. It's a significant upgrade over the RTX 2080 Ti and has since been replaced by the RTX 4070 Ti, but it's still worth considering for gaming in 2023. With 5,888 CUDA cores, 46 ray tracing cores, and 184 tensor cores, you can enjoy some high-fidelity gaming on a budget. Other specifications include a boost clock speed of 1.7 GHz, 8 GB of GDDR6 RAM, and a memory bandwidth of 448 GB per second. This is excellent for 1440p gaming, and you'll be able to do some more 4K gaming than what would be possible with our RTX 3060T recommendation in this collection. With other technologies like Nvidia DLSS, graphics cards like the RTX 3070 can punch above their weight. The current pricing of graphics cards may see you pay slightly more than typical for an RTX 3070, but if you manage to find one for MSRP or below, we'd recommend taking the plunge.